Hey guys, it's Dakota. Hope everybody's doing well. Okay, today I'm going to show you a love spell jar that I'm going to put together, and I actually found it. It's probably been not long ago, a couple weeks ago, when I sort and go through old stuff, and I found it in one of my journals. And when I talk about my journals, this is, I am talking about my binders. This is what I keep my notes, rituals, spells, recipes, you name it. I put them in these journals. Here's another one. These notebooks. I keep them in there. And my book of shadows, which I do have a video, you can go back a few, and if you click on videos, it'll take you to a whole page of my videos, and just look for book of shadows or my book of shadows, something like that, and you'll see that my book of shadows is not aesthetically pleasing. It is just a black 3-ring binder. That's all it is, and it's one of the big ones. And I show on that video that I sort of have an OCD problem, and I have it tabbed for herbs, stones, that kind of stuff, oils, yada yada, recipes, spell work, rituals, divination, different sections. It's tabbed. So that way, if I found something, I'm reading a book and I'm taking notes, but it's something that I want to keep and I want it in my book of shadows, then I can tear it out of here nice and smooth and easy, put those little stick-on ring savers and stick that in the book of shadows under the tab that it belongs. Pardon me. So if I was, if I have a tab for herbs, or I'm putting together this love bottle, this love spell jar, and I just want to look up what kind of herbs for this particular kind of love spell jar that we're doing. Then I go right to herbs, and everything is, and then that's alphabetical. So like there's, love spells, prosperity, or herbs kind of thing. It's all broken down. I've got astrology, numerology, everything is in there. Because to go back through this would be an absolute nightmare. It's really, really hard for me to find stuff in these. But this is my go-to. This is what I use. It's easy. I don't care if I have to scribble, if I scratch it out. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So, and then if I want to transfer it, I will. That's how I work. So while I was going through some journals from years ago, who knows when, I came across this spell. And this, synchronicities, as you know, that's huge for me. And let me start over. So about I don't know, let's just say a month ago, there was a pond, and I saw these flowers growing by the pond. So of course I jump out of the car and I go over and snap pictures of these flowers, because I take pictures of everything. Just everything. I'm a camera fanatic, and I don't take great pictures. I don't know. I need to take a photography class. And so I took a picture of these flowers. I didn't know what they were. I posted it on Facebook. My friend, I tagged her because she works at a gardening center. Plus, she's a florist, so she does weddings, and so she knows all the flowers and plants. And I said, "What is this?" And she said, "It's a rose mallow." I don't know what that is, so I look it up. And mallow is Greek for hibiscus. So it was a type of hibiscus, and so that got me to thinking. And the other thing that is the rose of Sharon, which I have a tree, bush. It's shaped like a tree. A rose of Sharon is also a type of hibiscus. I didn't know that. And I have my swamp hibiscus, which is also called a scarlet rose mallow, scarlet rose mallow, and they're the size of a saucer. No kidding, they're bigger than my hand. I swear, they're bigger than my hand. The flowers are about this size. Truly, they're about this size. You might be able to tell by that picture. I don't know. That's the picture that's the very front of the video. Anyway, and so that is a mallow, and it's the short name is called it's a swamp hibiscus. That's what I call it. Excuse me. And then I come across this spell that I had done for someone some years ago, and it was a love spell, and it called for hibiscus oil. Well, I don't really, anymore. I used to work with oils pretty heavily, and I don't really anymore. It's just not my thing. I don't know. Not that I don't ever use them. I do use them, and we're going to use some today. But I typically don't use oils unless I'm just using it to dress a candle or something. But if you watch my videos, you'll see that I use other things as well. So, so then I'm like, oh, okay, hibiscus. Oh, I call for hibiscus oil. And so I thought what I would do, so the synchronicities of finding that rose mallow and finding out that my rose of Sharon is a type of hibiscus, and then my swamp hibiscus, which are about 9 or 10 feet tall. I kid you not. They're as tall as the roof on the addition to my house. And they're just huge. And so all of that put together, and then coming across this love spell, I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you, I'm going to put together a love jar. But now this is not going to be, because I put it together. It took me, a day to decide what I wanted to do. And then of course I did my research, and there's no romantic love going on. There's nobody's asking for this spell. Okay, so we're not trying to bring in a lover. We're not trying to have romantic love, lust, any of that. This is more as well, let me put it to you this way. What I'm going to put together today is going to be more about like friendship, creativity, friendship, that whole, I wrote it down, it's appreciation of each other, people in your life, appreciation for them, respect, honor, I can't even read my own writing, and creativity. So that's kind of what it's going to be about today. However, you can change this if you like the idea, the creation of this spell, then you can change it to whatever you want. If you want it for love to draw in, because we're going to be using some stuff that is for drawing in, then change it. Change it. Do your work and change it. If you're looking for a romantic partner and that's what you want, then do your research and find out what kind of herbs, or maybe you want, I'm going to be using a pink candle today, and maybe you want to use red. I don't know. So you can make it really for anything that you want, but that's what I'm going to do today. So if you like the way that it's being assembled and etc., then that's fantastic if you want to use it for that. And if not, then you can always change it up. All right, so I do want to show you this. Oh, I couldn't find it. So this is a crack up, all right? So the first time I came across a swamp hibiscus, one of our neighbors, every time I would drive by, I was like, what is up with this woman? Because she's growing marijuana right in her front yard. But then over the course of a couple months, there would be these humongous flowers. So one day I stopped and I asked her, I'm from the West Coast. There's a lot of things about the South, which is another synchronicity. We've been at my shop. We have been all week long with customers amongst ourselves, talking about the differences between Southern talk and Southern characteristics and Southern things compared to West Coast Valley Girl, you know, kind of stuff. And so it's been really funny. So I had never heard or seen of this. I just really thought she was growing marijuana. And so, and it turned out that they were swamp hibiscus. This is what the leaf looks like. So you'll know, you know, right? I mean, well, I don't smoke marijuana, but I'm familiar with the leaf, and I know that it looks kind of like that, and it takes a couple months for it to bloom. So this is growing out of the ground, and I'm thinking, this lady, she smokes a lot of marijuana, and it's right in her front yard. Wow, how's she getting away with that? But that's the leaf of the swamp hibiscus. And then, as I said, the flowers are huge. They're platter size. They are huge. So she passed away, sadly, and we ended up buying the property, and she lived in a single wide. We moved that off the property, and so now we just have this acre of land out there. But I dug up the swamp hibiscus, and I put them in our yard because on the side of the house, I just wanted to see if they would grow, if I could get them to grow. And they have, and I've got them in 3 places. They spread because is this is the pod. So the flower is here, and then it falls off, and they only last about a day, if you're lucky, 2 days, but that's it. The blooms only last. Same with my Rose of Sharon. They bloom, and I'm like, oh, and the next day I go out and they're all wilted and dead. They only last about a day or 2. So, and this is the pod, and inside the pod, I don't have my knife, is are the seeds, full of seeds. So as it dries, this will dry, falls off, it dries, it cracks open. The seeds, whichever the birds and the bugs don't get, they go right into the ground, and Mother Earth likes them, and she grows more. So there you go. Okay, so the one of the things that the hibiscus is really good for, whether it's a swamp hibiscus or a regular hibiscus or Rose of Sharon, is it is the flower. The hibiscus is the flower of the goddess Kali, and apparently, as the story goes, that she comes out of the hibiscus. And so hibiscus is an excellent offering for the goddess Kali. Now, what I learned today, and if you've watched my videos, then you know, one of the things that I use almost, let's just say 95% of the time in my spell work is, or my work is, like if I'm needing to do something, if I want something, if I need something, if I'm trying to do something, I use road opener. It's called Abre Camino, and I use it a lot. Now that I make an oil, a road opener oil, and it's really good, by the way. I use that, and I am not Buddhist, but I do work with Lord Ganesha because he's the Lord or the God of, he removes obstacles. That's what he does. He's the remover of obstacles. So that is road opening. If you remove the obstacle, then the road is open and you're able to go. So I work with him a lot in my work. When I'm doing and using road opener, I will have something of him there. Whether it's, I have little crystal images of him, crystal stone carvings. I have brass carvings. I've got a big, heavy, I didn't bring it because it's heavy, big lava stone statue. So I don't worship him in that respect. But what I didn't know is that hibiscus is an excellent offering for Lord Ganesha because he said that and this is what I just learned. Okay, I just learned this. He said that the hibiscus flower uh, empowers it elevates the consciousness. It elevates the consciousness. That's what it was. Has the power to elevate your consciousness. So typically when I'm gathering the blooms, I usually, over the years, I've only like maybe got 2 or 3 because I don't really use hibiscus that much, but I will now because I work with Lord Ganesha in that respect. And as an offering, I will be using the swamp hibiscus. I do have hibiscus. We carry dried hibiscus at the store. I drink hibiscus tea. Be careful when you're consuming hibiscus. It works as a diuretic. It's really good for high blood pressure. However, it can also do other things to your digestive system. Just saying. Be careful. And of course, with any herb, any supplement, any herb, research the heck out of it because it can interfere with any other medications you're taking, any allergies that you might have, any conditions you might have. Check it out first, okay, if you're going to consume it. All right, let's move on. So, all right, so I think I said so mallow, the swamp hibiscus, is a scarlet rose mallow. Mallow is Greek for hibiscus. It is a feminine flower. It's feminine. And so therefore, Sun and Venus and possibly Aphrodite, your love goddesses, you would be excellent as an offering for them as well. It is red, the one that I'm using, my scarlet. I've never seen them in any other colors than red. When I was doing my research, they were all red. And so when we look at red, we look at passion and romance, love, sexuality, beauty, but also friendships and what other root chakra, when you're working with your root chakra. So you know, like if you're doing a grid or something, add some hibiscus for the root chakra. It would be really great. So I learned a few things over this past week that I was working on this new information. Okay, so we're going to get started, and but you can use the herb. You can use hibiscus, the swamp hibiscus, for divination, for psychic dreams. Maybe put it in a little pouch, put it under your pillow. You can use it to steep and scry, steep it and then scry, which I did some scrying this morning with my crystal ball, and very interesting, very interesting. And I am not great with scrying, but it was good. You can burn it. And again, word of caution, be sure that smoke is something that is not going to interfere with you or your pets or your children, allergy wise, or whatever. Always make sure. It's also a really good antioxidant, but there again, use your caution, do your research, think about it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move the camera down, and I will keep referring to my notes. And here we go. I'm going to put you on pause. Pause. Oh, keep thinking it's my phone. Okay, so see these little bottles, little jars? They're small. I bought at a yard sale. A woman had this box there were 12 cases. There's there's 9 of these in a little case like this. There was 12 cases of these in a sealed box with a few extra ones. I got them all for $5. I got that whole box for $5 plus like 3 or 4 full containers of them. That was a deal, right? That was a really good deal. Okay. All right, so I have my little bottle here, and I have already cleansed it. I cleansed it with incense, not sage, because I don't burn sage or dried herbs when I'm inside. I don't like the smell of them. So this has already been cleansed and ready. All right, so what you're going to need is you're going to need your hibiscus, dried hibiscus flowers. Now, these are sort of, let me dump these out here. Oops, there's my oil I'm going to use. So, okay, so these 3 here are pretty dry. It takes a minute to gather them, and this is why. Like I said, there's only 1 or 2, at least on my plants, there's only 1 or 2 at a time. And so when they only last a day, sorry, had a tickle. They only last a day or 2, and so you have to pick them as they fall off. So these have already dried. These are pretty dry. These are not quite dry yet. This is what they look like. Okay, so they're going to just shrivel up. They close up. The hibiscus closes up, and they end up looking like this. I dry mine naturally. I don't like to put them in any kind of dryer thing that a lot of people do. I don't have a problem with that. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. All right, the first thing you're going to do is, and 1 second, let me grab it. So I have my intention, and it's already written out, and I fold it towards me because that is, I'm trying to bring this energy towards me. And what this is going to be, like I said, is about, you know, just the celebration of who is in your life, respecting, honoring, lifting the other person up, that type of thing. So not, what I'm doing is not romantic love, nothing like that. And I anointed my little paper, my little petition, put that in first with rose petal oil. All right, then the next thing I'm going to do is I have 3 carnelian stones, which in itself is a little funny because this is the other thing that we have been sort of chuckling at all through the last week or 2 at our store. Things trend. You know, I don't know if it's, well, what we hear is they found it on TikTok. And, you know, first it was Moldavite, and then it was dowsing rods, and now it is it's carnelian, and also bismuth, B-I-S-M-U-T-H. It's just pretty funny, but anyway, I am using carnelian. Now, I do have some carnelian stones here at the house, but none that I was willing to put in this spell. This just was not meant to go. But I do have, these are carnelian beads, so they have holes in them. But hey, the carnelian is carnelian, and I work in 3s, and so it actually worked out a little bit better for me. So I took 3 carnelian beads, and I'm just going to place them. I guess if I move this, you can see. I'm going to put 3 of the stones on top of that. Well, that didn't work. Hang on one second. Let's get those out. Putting my petition back in, because you know what? I want this to be right. Get in there. Now, let's see if I can't get these stones. They flipped the paper over is what happened. Oh, great. There it is. All right. I've added my stones. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my hibiscus. I'm not going to grind it. I'm just going to kind of peel and pinch off. And I'm adding that to the jar. And you can use however many you want. There's no rhyme or reason. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use 2. I want a little more than that, so I'm going to use 2. Just sort of push it down a little bit. Actually, I can't just use 2 because I work in 3, so it feels odd to me. So I'm going to go ahead and use 3. Now you can use whatever kind of herbs you want. If you want to add more herbs to this, you can. Rose petals, if you're trying to draw in a more romantic kind of love, that would work really well. So all I have is my petition on the bottom, and then I've got my carnelian stones on top of my petition, and I've just added my swamp hibiscus. Now, I want this to be sort of a warm, fuzzy feeling, but I also want it to be swift. I want to ignite it. So I am just taking regular cinnamon powder, and I'm going to put in however much I feel is enough. So I just added cinnamon powder. Again, you can use any kind of herbs you want. You could use whole cinnamon if you want. What cinnamon does is it just, it's a fire herb. So it ignites, it gets things going. It moves it along a little bit quicker. All right, and then I'm going to take my rose petal and I'm going to actually add 1, 2, that was probably about 3, but I'm going to add 1 little drop more. Boom. Oh, it's spilling all over the side. Okay, so there's my oil. Put that over here. This is an old primitive bread, I don't know, where they would lay their bread out, roll their bread out or whatever. All right, I add my oil, and then I'm going to, and that's it. That's what I'm going to use, okay? That's all I'm going to use. No, I take that back. I am going to add, this is passion flower. And so passion flower is sort of a fiery herb. The reason I decided I wasn't going to, but I am, because I'm going to actually anoint my, or dress my candle with this as well. But I'm going to put some in there. I'm going to put 3 pinches of this in there because it's also for attraction, and it also is ruled by Venus. So it sort of brings about peace to relationships, and you know, it helps to attract that thing that you're looking for in friendships, whatever that may be. Now these are kind of big stemmy things. I should have ground this up first, but it's all right. I'm just going to put those on top of the oil. see if I can get a little bit. There's 2 and 3. And then I'm going to seal it. Set that to the side. I've put the passion flower in here. I want to grind it a little bit because it has some big stems, which I will not be able to probably put onto my candle. This is more of an herb that I would probably, if I was inside the house, run through my grinder that I have, my electric grinder. But this will work for what I need it to do. I'll just take out these big chunky ones. I'm doing this. I know the video is getting long. Again, I can't keep my videos any shorter. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, there's just some big chunky pieces. So, all right. So my candle, what I'm going to do is cleanse it real quick with my Florida water. I just like to put a little bit in my hand, rub it in my hand. Rub it on the candle, make sure I get the wick and I get the bottom. This is just a cleanser, and it's just me putting my energy into the candle. I'm back to my rose petal oil. And I'm just there's 4. Hang on one second. 5. I've taught candle magic before in my shop, and people are like, ew, because they don't want to get dirty. So anyway, you got to get down and dirty. And now I'm just going to rub it. I'm going to actually, I want to mix some cinnamon with it. I'm just going to throw some cinnamon in there. And all I'm doing now is just rolling and kind of pushing the herbs into my candle the best I can. I should have ground it a little bit more. Like I said, it's a little chunky. Now the other thing that you can do to get your herbs to stick is heat your wax. Let's see if I can do it without burning myself up. I'll do it down here on one side. You can take your candle and just sort of heat it up a little bit. And then roll it. And it sticks a little bit better. But the fans are on, so it's not working so well. But you get the idea, okay? So then you're going to have your candle dressed like this. All right. See if I can get this without the fan. I'm going to heat up the bottom of my candle, hopefully. All right, I got to turn the fan off. All right, so I heated up the bottom just enough to get that to stick on there. Put the herbs around it. And the whole time that you're doing this, you know, you're going to visualize your end result. You want to visualize your end result. That is the most important thing. Whether this is pretty, whether, you know, you messed up just like I did, you know, it didn't come out exactly the way you wanted it. The intention is there. That is what the most important thing is your intention. The universe really doesn't care how pretty it is. The universe is about how much work, how much effort, what you know about what you're doing is. Pretty is wonderful, and I love it. I think it's great. And some of my stuff actually does look really pretty, but some of it doesn't. And I am actually more concerned with my words. Are they exactly what I want? Is my intention exactly what I want? Have I been, you know, honest with what it is that I want? You know, what are you truly calling into this spell work? What is your end result? You have to be really specific. This is a spell, and so you would want to choose wisely on your petition and as you're putting your things into it. Whether you carved your candle, which would be a plus, that would be an extra thing. That's really kind of showing the powers that be that you're interested in really having this work. Carve your candle. Really working it, really putting it together and really working it. Choose wisely. And then, I don't know, you're going to just, you know, when it's done and when you get ready to light your candle, you know, you could say something like, I don't know, I call on the energies of this flame. We'll light it and see what happens. Of this flame to transform my intention into reality, so mote it be. You know, may it harm none, so mote it be. Whatever words you choose. And this will burn down. Now, these candles typically don't melt, but you know, don't flow out. Drip is what I'm trying to say. But because I used herbs, what I'm hoping is that it will drip down and create a seal on the jar. If it doesn't, I don't care because that part of it is really just aesthetics to me. And again, you know, having something pretty is wonderful, but I'm more concerned with the herbs that I chose, why I chose them, why I chose the color candle, why I chose the stones, and my intention that I put into it. That's what I'm more concerned about. So that is it. This is Love Jar, and I think I had some extra notes. Yeah, and one of the other things, oh, this is good. One of the other things is that, you know, the hibiscus is an excellent food source for the pollinators, like the bees and butterflies. Hummingbirds love them. And, you know, if you think about, especially if you think about like the butterflies and, you know, bees, they do have a really short lifespan. And so it's really about making the most out of the time that you have here. And so I just cannot get wrapped up in, oh my gosh, this isn't as pretty as I wanted it to be, and yada yada. And so yeah, so there it is. And it looks like it's going to start dripping right there. Yay! Okay, guys, that is it. That's what I had for you today. Have a great week. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.